Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Look, get in here, get in here, get in here, and welcome to a new live episode of He Said, He Said, He Said. A look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective, because one perspective isn't enough. I'm your host, Alvin King, and I'm so glad that you all are with us tonight. I hope you all had a great short week. And I got to tell you, I'm glad you're here starting your weekend with us tonight on our show. As we move into this weekend, I want to take a moment to remind everyone here on the East Coast to stay alert. Our first major snowstorm of the year is on the way this weekend, and it's expected to hit really hard. I don't know if you all remember, but this is the 10th year of Snowmageddon in DC or on the East Coast. And I know in DC, we had about 14 inches of snow. So please prepare, stay safe, and check on one another, particularly our elderly. You guys check on them and make sure that they're okay. Before we jump into the show tonight, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that really hit me this week. I want to speak directly to the men. Ladies, I'm speaking to you too, but many of us don't think like you do. So I'm talking to the guys tonight. We're at the start of the new year, and everybody's talking about, all the New Year's resolutions and fresh starts and whatnot. But I want to challenge you to focus on the one thing that makes everything else possible: your health. And let me be clear. Going to the gym, guys, is not an antidote for good health. Having a cute little body that looks good and that everybody wants to grab on and pull on is not the same as being healthy. Real health comes knowing what's happening on the inside of your body. And that means going to the doctor, knowing your blood pressure, checking your cholesterol and blood sugar, getting your blood work done, getting your prostate screenings checked. Okay, you got to make sure you have those screenings, and getting your eyes checked also. And if you're at that beautiful seasoned age, schedule that colonoscopy. All right, guys, too many men, especially young men, are dying far too early, not because they didn't work out or anything, but because they didn't get checked out. Let me say that. They are dying really early, not because they didn't work out. It was because they didn't get checked out. And, I do this every year in January and February. I go to all my doctors and get my health checked just to reset and focus for me. This year, I'm going into my 67th year, and I'm grateful. I got a clean bill of health. I feel great. And that's because I chose to put my health first. So if you hear nothing else from me right now, I need you guys to hear this. Your life is worth the appointment. All right? Your life is worth the appointment. And I hope you take heed to what I'm saying. All right. So let me talk about tonight's show, okay? Because our show tonight, in our segment of We See You, we are honored to welcome a filmmaker whose work is making history by telling queer stories in a place where visibility itself can be revolutionary. Dr. Kamisi Adebisi is the creator of the groundbreaking Nigerian BL web series Boys Like Us. It's a show that has sparked conversations across borders, cultures, and community. And I got to tell you guys, this is his first U.S. interview. All right, right here, he said, and I'm feeling too darn good about it. Okay, so I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Again, we're going to have a great conversation. I see you viewers on here. We're going to say hi to you, but I can't do that until I get my guys on here. So if you all are ready, let's get on with the chat. Gentlemen.
Bonsoir.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Sean, look, you put a little scarf on him and he goes straight up Hulk couture. Okay.
Buenas noches, mi amigos.
He's so international.
How you guys doing tonight?
Muy bien. Konnichiwa.
Oh my Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Country.
Okay. Oh my Jesus. Hey, look, before we get say it again, Bobby.
Glad it's Friday. And as you mentioned earlier in the intro, you know, we're all here in the DMV and we're kind of gearing up for this snowstorm that's heading our way.
Yes.
Hey, everybody, folks. And
Hey,
thank
everyone.
you for birthday wishes. It was a great weekend. Thank you.
Patrice came on early at 6:58, y'all, before the show started and said, happy birthday to Bobby. Patrice, you know I love you. Thank you. Rodney, hello. How you doing? Let me see. Who else do we have here? George Pringle, Michelle Bowie is here. The Bryant is here. Let me see who else. Monica Pleasant is here.
And people, come on in.
Come on in. And while you all are coming in here, I want to tell you all, and I don't know if any of you all know this or not, but I want to take a moment to put our hands in the air for the 16 Oscar nominations that the movie Sinner has received this week. Ryan Coogler's blues-steeped vampire epic Sinner made Oscar history by earning 16 Academy Award nominations, the most ever for a single film in the Oscars' long history. That total surpassed the previous record of 14 nominations, which was jointly held by All About Eve, the movie with Bette Davis in 1950, Titanic in 1997, and La La Land in 2016. Bobby and Sean, how y'all feeling about this?
Well, you heard me. You heard me say it earlier. I pray that this is not another repeat of The Color Purple. Was it 1984 or 85?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna put some energy out there, Sean. We're gonna make sure that it ain't that. So put it out. Come on. I need to feel. I want to. Are you excited about this? The 16 nominations. First of all, I mean, they're looking good.
I'm very excited. I think, you know, I think that many people were very concerned that it was not going to be acknowledged for the accomplishment that it was and is. As I said, it's going back into the movie theater. So those of you who may have missed it in one way or another will have the opportunity to see what all the fuss is about. But it's exciting, and it's always nice to break a record. But as Sean said, the nominations versus the awards are two totally different things.
Two totally different things, but we're gonna stay positive about it. And
yes,
I don't know if they can hear us, but us here at He Said Live, we are sending positive thoughts to them, and we hope that they take home 16 awards.
Amen.
Amen.
Can I just have a quick second? Just one of our viewers, Diane, kind of scolded me last week because she said I did not have my he said mug. So I just want to.
Make sure you
Diane, you're gonna be the first to get a mug when them mugs come in, Diane. Diane, I don't know where you are, but since you know Bobby, you're gonna get a mug. So thank you for reminding him. Guys, and viewers, again, welcome to the show. This week in our chat topic, with all the stuff happening in the world right now, with people being angry and divided and going back and forth online in real life, it makes a lot of us wonder. So for our chat tonight, here on He Said Live, we're asking the question, when is too much too much? And we're looking at two moments that really stirred the conversation this week. One from the pop culture and one from a protest that made its way into a place of worship. On the surface, they seem very different, but at the heart of both, it's the same issue. How we express ourselves, where do we draw the line, and what happens when we get totally pissed off and we just explode, okay? So I'm gonna, Bobby, if you will, can you just share with the viewers some facts about our first conversation tonight?
Absolutely. So the question is, when is too much too much? And we've got a really interesting situation right here that we want to go into. And it includes two well-known folks. Rapper Nicki Minaj launched a very heated social media attack on journalist Don Lemon, using a homophobic slur and calling him disgusting. even saying that she wanted him in jail. Her comments came after Lemon live streamed coverage of a protest that had disrupted a church service in Minnesota. So Lemon responded by calling her comments ignorant and bigoted, urging her to stop talking about things she doesn't understand. So the feud is on. Let's say shots were fired. And Norman, you want to put that first question up for our viewers? Okay, it is coming. That first question is:
Do you think Nicki Minaj's actions were justified? And we can't say what she called Don Lemon
because it was disgusting.
It was pretty vulgar for what she said. But Sean and Bobby and viewers, I want to ask you guys: when someone goes from disagreeing to tearing people down, what does that say about how we talk about each other now?
Well, I've always felt that we currently live in a culture where people struggle with boundaries. They feel like they can say and do whatever they want, and it's always going to be okay. And you guys have heard me say before, I think that a lot of times we are what we ingest. And when I saw the rise of television shows where people are always just accusing each other, showing up, and who's the father, who's this, and cussing people out, and and then the Housewives of Pick a City, where everybody's flipping tables and calling each other all out of their name. That when we see this and we highlight that and emphasize that, I believe we normalize that kind of behavior. Because there was a time when you would never publicly say some of the things that you say to people that people say now without even thinking twice about it. So I think it's the result of lack of boundaries and normalizing behavior that we should have never allowed to become normalized.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bobby, 100%. And this is way too much on the part of Nicki Minaj. Here's the thing, though. Why did she not go after D.L. Hughley? Why did she not go after the folks at Native Land Pod, Angela
Rye, Andrew Fulham, and
Bakari Sellers?
Yeah.
So why didn't she go after all the others who are out there speaking on this issue? It's because Don Lemon has more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And Don Lemon is going to be out there on the streets. And this is a way for her to continue to be out there to make folks think that she's really behind this whole MAGA and this whole conservative movement. It's a facade. She's spiraling. She's looking for some kind of attention. And
you're saying she's not relevant.
I'm sorry?
Essentially, you're saying she's not relevant.
She's not relevant. Again, like the question says, she's doing way too much. It's too much.
I'm going to take it a step further to what Sean said for the people who she didn't go after. The fact that she went for Don Lemon, who's openly gay. She went directly for his jugular and not the other two who are not, to my knowledge, openly gay. Right. So I agree with you. It does have everything to do with the viewers and her, riding somebody's coattail to get more attention since hers is going away. But it was, to me, it was a very homophobic approach to what she did. And so I don't want to discount that at all. So how do you guys know when someone is just being passionate or when they've gone too far?
Well, I can tell you that by going to the next story, if you don't mind me, or the second part of the story.
Well, we don't want to go there yet. We don't want to go. We don't want to go there yet. We want to stay here and ask that question. So, how do you know when someone is, not being passive? Because I don't like passive aggressive people. So I don't like when people. I'm a passionate person when I talk about things. So I know how that can be misinterpreted. Especially, don't ask me nothing about production because I'm gonna be passionate with you. You're gonna get mad. So, but I understand how I've had to tailor that so that I don't leave people thinking, "Damn, is he calling me stupid?" You know what I'm saying? So
I don't think that you can be passionate and not be rude or not be dismissive or not be. You can be passionate and not be dismissive of people and all that kind of stuff. It is incumbent upon the person to be able to kind of embrace their own passion and be very committed to what they feel and what they believe for. but still realizing that if you're in an exchange with another person, it's incumbent upon you to also kind of read the room if you want the conversation to continue. If my passion seems to be shutting you down, then it's no longer an exchange. It's just me arguing or me, pushing my point. So I think passion is a good thing. I love passion in people in a variety of ways. We're going to leave that there. But you can still do that with while still being respectful of another.
With tact. You can be tactful.
Yeah. And with Nicki Minaj, this is not passion. This is actually what people do when they are in a fighting stance.
Absolutely.
She's projecting. And so if she was passionate about this particular issue or the church, where was she 5 years ago? Let's not even go that far back. Where was she even 3 years ago? So for folks who are passionate about given issues, they have been passionate about that issue probably for most of their entire life. I'm very passionate about journalism, and it's been in my blood since I was probably like 13 years of age. Okay. And so that's passion. What she's doing is fighting.
Yeah. And her choice of words, the vitriol that she throws at Don Lemon, have very little to do with the issue. It's all about him personally and his sexuality. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, because Sean, look, this story is going to tie into our next story, and Sean is anxious to do it. So, Sean, if you will, just for our next little segment that we're going to move into, give people some of the key facts that are associated with this next story.
Yeah, and this next story is all about passion because it involves some activists who are very passionate about the work that they do in Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota. And so basically, as you all know, there was a protest that took place at a church where Don Lemon was also reporting on the protest. Okay, so the protesters entered what they call City's Church in St. Paul. The protest was led by attorney Nakima Levy Armstrong. Okay, so they were in the church saying things like, ICE stay out, justice for Renee Good. They were protesting at City's Church because one of the pastors by the name of David Easterwood leads an ICE field office. And so they were protesting the fact that you have a pastor at this very wealthy church in St. Paul has a pastor who is basically leading the effort to have its residents removed from the streets and from their homes and shipped off to who knows where. The protests garnered 3 people being arrested. Like I said, I mentioned that the attorney, Nakima Levy Armstrong, she was one of the people who was arrested. You may have also noticed that the White House and the DOJ, the FBI, posted an AI altered picture of Miss Armstrong crying. This is what they're doing. And the picture, of course, was false, and she actually wanted to turn herself in, but instead 50 officers showed up to her home with her husband to try to take her in, even though she was going to volunteer to turn herself in.
Okay, now, look, I want to make sure that we get to some questions. So that's the gist of the story and where we're going with this that ties into Nicki Minaj. And so my question to you and Bobby about all this is there ever a time when free speech goes too far, especially in church or a sacred space?
Well, I wanted to conclude, but to your point, I'm not going too far, is that Dylan Ruth went into a church in South Carolina. Did he go too far? I would say HELL, yes, he did. So them going into a church in St. Paul, I don't think that was a bit too much because none of this kind of outrage came when 9 people were killed in a church in Charleston, South Carolina.
Right.
I believe I'm a very religious and spiritual person. I believe in the sanctity and the sacred space of churches. I think that there is something to be said about protesting outside of a church versus inside of a church. So I personally I don't see myself participating in a protest inside of a church because I just respect that space. Many protesters are, their goal is to create friction and to create change. So it's not always a negative, but it's to create change. So I can understand that some people felt that maybe being outside would not be as effective as going inside. But it just also isn't just any church. It was a church, as you said, where the pastor is a field agent for ICE agents who are out here disrupting communities. And so I can see where people have said, well, it's not about niceties or being appropriate or whatever. We're going in there to let this man know that we have little appreciation for what he's doing and we want ICE out of our city. So I just say that to say that for me, the sacred space, just like what the situation that Sean presented, as well as this, is like going into a church and doing something of this nature, for me personally, feels much.
Like they've gone overboard. Is that what you're saying? Much means they've
gone
overboard.
It's a step beyond what I feel comfortable doing in terms of I've protested and I believe in peaceful protests. I do. What I don't believe should happen, though, because I just heard recently that there are plans for these people to be charged legally for their protest versus people who literally tried to overthrow the government being pardoned in an insurrection.
Well, I heard that the city of Minneapolis are striking back, and they're shutting down. People are not going to work. They are all going an all-out revolution. The people of Minneapolis, they're not going to work. They're not going to they're not going to schools. They're not doing anything. So and this kind of thing has to happen. And I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, guys. I just want to ask one more question about this.
Yes.
How do we speak out without disrespecting places that means something sacred to others? And I'm just going to say, I understand what you all were saying. They shouldn't go in there. I'm not advocating that they should have gone in there and wrecked the service or whatever and done that. But there are some pastors that have said some really hateful things in church to people. And it's supposed to be received as this is what God has instilled in him or her to say.
Yeah.
So how is that different from people saying, wait a minute, they go in this church, say, you're spreading all this hate and you having us locked up, but yet you up in that pulpit. No.
Let me just say this. You can't, these people are being hypocrites. If you believe in the Constitution and the separation of church and state, they did not go too far. You can't have it both ways. Okay, these people, like you said, Alvin, are up there preaching things that are ungodly, if you will, but yet they also want to be protected, but yet also take out tax dollars. Which is it? You can't have it both ways.
Can do it.
No,
you want to close?
I just said I hear that. I understand that. I just feel that for me, it's aligned for me in terms of going into sacred spaces. I think there are a variety of ways and places that you can protest and make your voice heard and so forth. But just for me, as for me, as they say, the church or sacred space of that nature, for me, crosses the line. Not to say that they aren't crossing a line by doing what they're doing. They're inappropriate in what they're doing, without question. But if the question is, how would I respond to it if I were protesting? Going inside the church is where I feel
you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, our viewers are truly weighing in. Hold on. First of all, I'm going to go back to Rick Irick, who is traveling home in the snow. You hurry up and get here, okay? But you're with us tonight. Rodney said that, and I'm going to move back real quick. I'm annoyed that there are 10 movies up for Best Pictures. He's annoyed by that. Happy Friday from Michelle Sims. Thank you very much. Monica, Monica, don't talk about that mug. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that mug. Mug too. Rodney says, Patrice says, hey, I want him. Oh, she want him up. Rodney says that that this was justified to him, that what they did. And I saw Raw Health in here. Greetings and salutations to you, young man. And Raw Health said, ACT UP members protested in the 80s inside of a church to promote a worthwhile cause, and I say yes.
And that was AIDS. They were protesting the inequities around AIDS, and I completely get it.
It's almost the same. So, all right. First of all, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Having this conversation about too much is too much. And, I just want to wrap it up by saying that tonight's examples might feel different, a celebrity feud and a protest inside of a church, but both challenge us to reflect on what we value most: freedom of expression, respect for others, and how we disagree without tearing apart the fabric that allows us to coexist. That's what we're asking tonight when we want to talk about when it's too much, too much. So again, Bobby and Sean and viewers, thank you so much for weighing in on that. That's beautiful. Yep. Are you all ready? Because what we're getting ready to experience tonight has never been done before. And so, it is a first. It is a first. And we have a special guest here, and I can't wait to talk about him and all of the work that he's doing with his new show. So if you all are ready, can I introduce Dr. Kamisi Adebisi?
Please.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Kamisi Adebisi is a Nigerian screenwriter, filmmaker, and creative executive, redefining queer storytelling from the African continent to a global audience. Born and raised in Nigeria and originally trained in medicine, he brings over a decade of experience creating bold, human-centered stories. He is the creator of Boys Like Us. I've seen it. You guys got to check it out. A groundbreaking Nigerian BL web series on CARMSEE TV. You can go to on YouTube, and a creative executive of CARMSEE Media and Entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, for our We See You, please welcome Dr. Kamisi Adebisi.
Welcome.
Hi. Just a good evening.
Yes.
Mention, he is not around the corner coming to us.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Adebisi is in Nigeria, and they're 7 hours ahead of us. So I need you all to put some clicks in that, okay? He is 7 hours ahead of us. So thank you for being here, my brother. Thank you. And congratulations.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Wow. Well, I'm going to kick it off, and Kamisi, do me a favor. I'm just going to ask you just to speak louder because I want to make sure that they hear everything that's coming out of your mouth tonight.
Okay.
I don't want them to leave with anything. And again, it's an honor to have you with us. So, Kamisi, for our viewers who are just discovering you and the show, what is Boys Like Us about, and who are the four young men at the center of this web series?
Okay, Boss Like Us is about four queer men, should I say four gay men, because we don't have a trans man among them. So Boss Like Us is about four gay men living together in the city of Lagos, and how they navigate their life with that comes with homophobia, love, family, friendship, their work, how it interferes with their sexuality. So we have Mufe, who is a medical doctor, and is a romantic. He was looking forward to meet his new boyfriend, and then he fell in love with a street thug, by the way. And then we have a Diamond, who's a fashion designer, who had an issue with his sugar daddy. And we have Frank, who is the corporate guy who works in the corporate world. And we have Edible, the kind of queer man who, does everything, does cooking, does events, does muscle, does muscles, does a lot of things. So we just kind of wanted characters that represents every walk of life, almost every walk of life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems like we all have one of them in our lives, right?
Three or four.
Okay, we have one of them. Thank you. I do. Before we move on, I see that one of the characters is a doctor. Is that any relation? Does that kind of? You're a doctor. Is that part of? Are you putting yourself in there? What's happening with
No.
that character?
I wasn't putting myself in there, but I wanted to write something. I would write the kind of job I would, understand, something that was easier to, work with our budget, kind of. So, even though we didn't show him in the hospital, but I just wrote it because there's something I do. So I don't want to write something I don't know about.
Smart. Thank you.
Yeah, again, thank you. And I think that is fabulous that we're getting something out of West Africa that is not here. So, but I do have to ask, because there are a plethora of stories out there. So why did you feel or still feel so compelled to make this series? And what was missing in the stories being told around the world for you that you knew this story had to be told?
Okay, growing up, most people, they look up at Noah's Ark, all those. So, in Nigeria, the queer reality, the reality of LGBTQ people is kind of different from what we have, what you guys have in the United States of America. So we wanted to do something that people here can relate with, and people here can look back, in the next few years and be like, oh, we once had something like Noah's Ark. We once have something to look back on. People can go back every time to watch. When queer kids are growing up, they can go back to watch it. So that's why we have to do this, and we wanted to do it in our own reality, even though we tried to avoid some sensitive topics. Yeah, which I'll talk about later. We tried to avoid some sensitive topics, and then we didn't want to do something so sexual and so like people coming out of the closet, which we have almost every time. So, but we just wanted to do something fun, and with a little bit of something fun in a way that homophobia is not so on the nose.
Thank you for that, Kamisi. So obviously, we've mentioned the fact that these stories are very sensitive and not necessarily embraced in a global context. And certainly in many African nations, that this story would be a difficult one for some people to embrace. And so the question is, politically or personally, was there ever a moment when you felt this story just has to be told, even with the risk of telling it?
Okay, yeah, there were times that most of the stories though I was seeing on the YouTube coming from queer people in Africa were just sexual story. He fell in, see the title, he fell in love with his friend, he fell in love with his this. So it was just like the only thing about queer people is sex and love. We didn't have friendship, we don't have careers, we don't have things that are deep, complex characters. So I needed okay, we need to do this. And one day I just sat down and I was like, is there any queer series I could watch from Nigeria or from Africa that I, could binge watch? And I realized I couldn't get any. So I just needed, okay, someone needs to start doing something. And I had to put myself forward and, okay, let me do something, even though we had a limited budget and resources.
I love it, because we are certainly more than just sex and love. we do have other aspects of our lives. So yeah,
absolutely. Kamisi, first of all, for all the viewers who are just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Kamisi Adebisi. He is the creator of Boys Like Us, a web series on YouTube. We're going to put up the link in a few minutes. This is an unprecedented moment because this is his first live interview in the United States about his web series. So again, we thank you for being here, Kamisi. You mentioned an episode called Noah's Ark. So my question to you is, with shows like Noah's Ark, which is groundbreaking for Black and queer visibility, and now this new show, are you familiar with a series called Heated Rivalry?
Yeah, but I've not seen it actually.
Okay. Well, shows like Heated Rivalry for Men in Hockey. Were you aware of those? Well, you did know about Noah's Ark. Did any of them influence you in any way, and still to this day, to create what you're doing right now?
Yeah, Noah's Ark was one of those things that influenced me to do this, because I watched Noah's Ark growing up. I think when I was like my late teenage years, I watched it, and like when I wanted to start the production for Boys Like Us, I watched it too. So I watched the first few episodes. So, but we did Boys Like Us before It's a rivalry came after we released the Boys Like Us. But Noah's Ark was one of those things that influenced me to make Boys Like Us.
Okay. Because I hear a couple of other stories in there. Are you familiar with an author named Elin Harris?
What?
Are you familiar with an author by the name of Elin Harris?
No.
Okay. He was an author. He passed away, but he was basically, as far as storytelling, he was one of the pioneers before there was a Noah's Ark. And so if you haven't read some of his books, I would urge you to read some of his books. I think you might find them interesting.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. And Kamisi, I find it interesting your take regarding Noah's Ark. And like I said, that's a show that has global influence. So are shows like Queer as Folk, and as Alvin mentioned, Heated Rivalry is one of those shows that now also has global influence. So how do you see Boys Like Us fitting into the global legacy of queer storytelling, especially coming out of West Africa?
Yeah, I want to see people, going back to watch Boys Like Us to see the reality of queer people living outside, living in their normal way, living the way we live, even when homophobia is out of the window. Do you understand? See that queer people too are happy despite everything we face. We try to be happy. We try to try to like live, form friendship. We try to like survive. We try to have fun. There was a scene of people them having strippers for a friend's party. We do all those things despite the AIDS and everything. So want people to go back, every time to see people who most people like people who migrated to the West, they called me. I was like, oh, we love what you did. We kind of like felt back at home. We kind of like we wanted to come back home and have fun, kind of thing. So I want it to be a point of reference, even to filmmakers who will keep doing things, telling stories of underrepresented people in Africa.
I love it.
Well, making films is not an easy task. So I'm kind of interested in you sharing with us any challenges that you encountered in producing Boys Like Us, whether it be creative, financially, societal, what those challenges might have been and how you pushed through them.
Okay, firstly, we had financial challenges. So no filmmaker would not say they do in Nigeria, especially in Africa. We have financial challenges making movies, and especially this one was kind of difficult. We spent over the budget, kind of. But my producer and my director, they came through. They did everything to make sure it happened. It came alive, and we had to pay people way below their rates. So we just had to put everything together, put resources together. My producer and I, we had to fill some departments where we couldn't pay people. We had to join. Well, I'm gonna assist you with this. I'm gonna do this for you. So we need to pull resources together. And with societal challenges, we didn't really have any societal challenges because we were in an apartment making a film and nobody came to ask us, oh, what kind of film are you making? But I was kind of worried that I don't want the film to get to the wrong audience and target the cast and the crew members. Yeah.
So you were producer 1 minute, writer the next minute, cameraman the next minute.
Yeah.
A little bit of it all.
Yeah, a lot of people, I couldn't do it alone. So there are a lot of people who had to do a lot of things to get their hands dirty.
Well, I'm going to say that this is a testament to you, Kamisi, being somebody who I call myself a creator. And when you are creating something such as something like this, your show Boys Like Us, and you have people who are loyal to you, who are a part of the show, and they're doing 3 and 4 different jobs to make this show run. That's a testament to you and the type of person that you are. So I applaud you. And
Thank you.
I've seen the series, and you are making it work. You are making it work. And I know you do it, you say from inside your apartment, but it don't look like it's inside your apartment. It don't, so you're definitely doing what needs to be done. And again, I applaud you. So Kamisi, Bobby kind of asked this question, but I'm just going to go a little bit deeper. What does it mean to tell queer stories in Nigeria where representation can carry real world consequences?
Yeah, the telling stories is a form of our representation and a form of our activism. To tell people that we exist. We are more than what you think we are. We are human beings. We have lives. We have there's more to us than the identity you've given us. You think we are. So it's a form of activism. It's a form of telling people that we are here and we are here to stay. So that's why we tell underrepresented stories through filmmaking.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I have to say this, and I apologize, Alvin, but
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, I wish more people understood that when it comes to film and television and the power of it, no matter the scale, like because you mentioned your budget and what have you. So storytelling is crucial. But let me go back to my question regarding that, because again, I admire what you're doing. I wish I had your courage, to be honest with you, but I don't. But we all know that you're in Nigeria, of course, and that you're trained in medicine. So how have your experiences shaped the way you tell the story, the way you are producing your show?
Yeah, because through my as a medical doctor, I've come across a lot of people, especially people from underrepresented communities. In Nigeria, we have tribes that not a lot of people know about. You know about 3 tribes, the major tribes, and there are some people like you meet them and be like, oh, this kind of people exist. Do you understand? And you learn about their culture, and you know that they don't really know some things that could affect their earth and all that, and you kind of put them through. So I learned that I can use my career as a filmmaker to tell stories of these people, to tell diverse stories of things I learned as a medical doctor. And it makes me, my interaction with people made me to understand the psychology of a human being, the psychology of existence, how people behave, how people react when you tell them things, how people react when you educate them in a fun way. You don't have to try to enforce them, but you tell them in a fun way by storytelling. You tell them, oh, I've experienced this patient who took this medication and she got better and this and that, and you guys laugh about it, and they are glad and they meet you, and I've learned that through the power of storytelling you can heal someone. And so I apply that into my activism, that through the power of storytelling I can tell people that this is who I am, this is what I deserve respect, I deserve to be to be given an opportunity to speak, to be seen. Yeah.
Wow. I have a question here. Thank you, Kamisi. One of our viewers, Rick Irick, he asked, are you a practicing physician?
Yes.
He asked, are you still, and your answer, did you want to answer that to him? He said, are you still a practicing physician?
Yes, absolutely, practicing physician.
How do you, I guess I know I multitask. I have a lot. We all work jobs. You know what I'm saying? That seemed like a lot to balance. How do you find the balance to do that and find that space that you carve out to create?
Okay. I do film on the side. Filmmaking is like a part-time stuff for me. So not like I'm always on set or working on a project every time. So I just try to do one project in a year, kind of. So because I started writing when I was a medical student. I just I just started writing like something I wanted to do just to make a few bucks. But along the line, I realized, oh, I can be a filmmaker to bring my script, my stories alive, to tell stories the way I want it, the way I want, the kind of stories I want to tell, even when people don't want to, like, oh, we don't want to tell this kind of story. Nobody will watch this kind of story. This story is not something Nigerians would accept, Africans would accept. So I just do my own project on the side. You know, while I work as a medical doctor, I just take the whole year to plan my project for the year, you know, and then do it. I don't do too much by filmmaker. I don't do too much not to like affect my career.
Well, that's good to know. It still speaks to your versatility and your commitment to living a very, multi-layered life, and that's very exciting. So it does beg the question: outside of being a filmmaker, who Dr. Kamisi Adebisi is? What drives you? What inspires you, and what keeps you going when things become challenging?
Okay. I like traveling. That's one of the ways I have to have fun. I love traveling. And I love, going on, just hanging out with my friends. You know, last year I started taking swimming classes, and money is one of those things too that drive me. Money is one of those things that drive me to work hard. You know, get money and fund my filmmaking career. And I also like trying new foods, new cuisines. I like trying new cuisines, and that's one of those things. That's one of the reasons I like traveling to taste foods from other countries.
So outside of your native food, is there a particular food that you found that you really enjoy?
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I think I had this food in Ghana that was made with was it cassava leaf? This soup with cassava leaf, and
do we have a
I think we just lost him. I think he's
I think we did, but viewers don't go anywhere because he's going to log out. His power went out before we started the show. Again, he's in Nigeria, but he's going to log off and he's going to come back. Yeah. But hopefully you all are enjoying our conversation with Dr. Kamisi Adebisi. And for those of you who are just tuning in, this is an unprecedented interview. He has never interviewed in the United States. And Sean, Bobby, and I have I was going to say nagged him. We have grabbed him. We have grabbed him. And so welcome to the show, Robert.
I think he's coming back in.
Huh?
I think he's trying to get back in.
Yeah, he's trying to get back. He's coming, but they're 7 hours away. So if it's 8 o'clock here, you all do the math. And we asked him what was his friends watching tonight. He was like, well,
he's like, no, they're asleep.
Well, there he is.
Okay.
Oh no, that's okay.
Okay. I think my device went off. I had to like connect with another device. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
Yeah, the meal. I've forgotten the name of this soup from Ghana. So I had it with yam. So it was one of the I think that's the best food. That's not my local dish that I really like, and I can't wait to have it again.
Well, have you been to the United States?
No.
Okay. Well, put that on your list.
Not yet. Wait.
Not yet.
Exactly, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
So I'm sorry. So go ahead. Go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, I don't want to lose a brother by coming to this country. Okay. So, So you said you love to travel, and you say you love good food, and I'm curious about the response of your program throughout the Black diaspora. What has the response been like for the Nigerian audience, the diaspora, the global viewers? What kind of responses are you getting?
Okay, we've been getting positive response and responses, and most people will be like, "Oh, thanks for doing something of this quality." That most short films, web series they've seen are poor quality, and they are glad that we are telling stories not in the way that we are only capitalizing on the homophobia, coming out of closet, people killing, committing, suicide because of the sexuality, but we are telling our stories in a fun and in the friendly way. And there was a time we went viral on the American queer Twitter, and we got a lot of views from the United States of America. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay.
the response has been great. It has been, encouraging, and we're looking forward to doing more.
I'm happy to hear that. I really am.
Absolutely. Representation does matter, and it makes a difference.
Mhm.
So it begs the question, Dr. Adebisi, what's next after Boys Like Us? You said that you plan out your projects in advance, and you do that to balance being a practicing physician and filmmaker at the same time. So what can we expect next?
Okay, I think we are trying to make the season 2, the second season of Boys Like Us now, but we are just kind of financially not capable right now. We are looking for funds, and that's what is stopping us from starting to work on season 2 of Boys Like Us. So for now, it's still Boys Like Us. Yeah, this year I'm looking forward to doing season 2 of Boys Like Us.
Excellent. Well, if you need any American characters, here are 3 actors right here that.
No, I'm not a thespian. I'm not a thespian.
I will travel. I will travel to Nigeria, and you write a part for me. I'll come up in there. I promise you, because I do plan to travel that way
Okay.
next year. So but thank you for that. I did want to go back to something real quick and just ask you something about, do you have brothers and sisters there? Like,
Brothers
are
and
you, your
sisters.
siblings? Do you have siblings there?
Yeah, I have siblings. I have
How many
siblings.
how many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings,
Okay.
biological 3 siblings.
And are you the youngest or oldest or of the siblings?
I think I'm the middle child. I'm like the
Oh,
third of 4, the third of 4 children.
okay, because you're giving off, I'm a Gemini, you're giving off some strong Gemini characteristics. I don't know if you know anything about horoscopes, but you are giving that off. And I want to say something. And I think it's Angels. Uh, Charlie's Angels did have a question.
There you go.
Did creating the series change how you relate to your identity, and did it give you any hope for the future of queer people in Nigeria? Great question.
Very good question.
Okay. I don't think creating the series changed how I relate with my identity, because I've always been this person, fierce person who would never care what anybody thinks about me, and that was one of the things that gave me the inspiration to make the series, because I just want to put it in everybody's face. I want it to be there that we have a history. We in the future, if anybody comes, oh, I want to see things about queer people in Nigeria, you can reference to Boys Like Us and all that. And I think this is inspiring more filmmakers to do something like this, because people they've been asking around, how much did you spend to do this, what did you do to do this, how can I do something like this, what have what did you go through to do this. So I I think it's inspiring people, upcoming filmmakers, and people who are not bold enough to come out and do something like that.
Thank you. Well, as we near this interview with you, again, let me just say one more time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and congratulations to you, because you are doing wonderful things, and your spirit, just to communicate with you while we went through setting all this up, it was just a sheer joy. So I hope we are representing you, and for your folks that are in Nigeria, they are looking at us in a positive way as we celebrate you. And my last question for you before we let you go, Kamisi, what do you hope Boys Like Us gives to someone watching tonight who may feel unseen or unheard?
Okay. I just want you to know that you are more than what people think of you. You are more than what people think of you. You are an whole existence. You are all being. You have a life outside of what people think of you. Whether they think whatever someone think of you, you are who you are.
Oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's what you think of yourself. It's what you think of yourself that you will project, and you just live your life. Don't care about what anybody thinks of you. It doesn't change anything, because sometimes when you think, oh, what do people think about my sexuality? What do people think about the way I dress? What do people think about the way? It doesn't do anything. They don't pay your bills. As long as the person doesn't pay your bills, they don't feed you. There's nothing they can do. And the hate people project, it's from themselves. It's not from you. You are not the one causing them to hate you. It's because they can't tolerate your fierceness. They can't tolerate your joy. They can't tolerate your happiness. They can't tolerate your existence. That's why they hate you, and not because you are the one projecting hate to them.
Thank you. And you know what? I gotta give credit to someone. Charles, I saw your question, but he just answered the question. You just came at it a different way. So if you ever want to make a guest appearance on He Said with these questions, you can do that. You reach out to us at he said live at gmail.com, or you can subscribe to our page on YouTube at He Said live. Charles, I'm glad that you're here. But ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the conclusion of our interview with this amazing filmmaker, Dr. Kamisi Adebisi. Thanks again, my brother, for being here, and congratulations. Wow.
Thank you for having me.
Wow.
It was nice being here.
Well, you made this unprecedented visit, and so we're grateful that you're here. So don't go away. We're going to bring you back on before we close. But thank you again for being here tonight. Really do. Thank you.
What an interview from across the world.
Yeah.
Across the world, and he didn't even look sleepy.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't look like he was tired or anything. But
he said something several times that ties so directly to our words of the week this week. I love it.
I mean, amazing. Of which, okay, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, before we let you all go, next week we will be back with another live episode you don't want to miss. Our show, Meditation, Magic, and Manhood, the transformative fiction of author Douglas Bell. You guys want to know about this brother? He got a story to tell you, and he will be with us next week. And so we are looking forward to the conversation with Douglas. And if we can have Kamisi to come back to the stage or to the platform, I want to go out with our words of the week with him that Bobby so graciously found for us this week. Embrace your authentic self. Your true power lies in the freedom of not caring what others think. And I think that was just reiterated by...
He said it like 3 times.
He said it. Those are our words of the week. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of you, thank you, Michelle, all of you who have came on, whether you're on YouTube, we don't see you or whatever. Thank you all for being here tonight. And don't forget, go to our YouTube page at He Said live on YouTube, and click and subscribe and get notifications when we're about to go live. Please do that. Yep. But until next week, ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. Remember, it's going to snow, and we'll see you next week for a new episode of He Said. Ciao. Good night, Kamisi. Thank you so much.
He's putting his name too.